Hello everyone, and welcome to day, is this day 5? So people who know me, but not necessarily those who are subscribed to me, may be aware that I'm actually a very avid reader. So a few days ago, I was talking to a friend, and one thing that came up was she never really got into reading. And so because that conversation actually led me to start wondering when I started reading. It reminded me of some of the kind of odd stigmas actually regarding reading and getting into it. Because I remember when I was younger, I always felt that when I got older, I had to move up to a certain level of reading. Like, all right, I'm in middle school now. I should be reading books that are like 500 to 600 pages long and go for more adult books based in reality. But to be honest, I think when I got older, I kind of forgot the rules. And as a result, everything opened up. Which brings me to modern day where my only rule for reading is read something that you like. Because with my friend, she really enjoys reading mangas, but she hasn't really found any novels that she's as into. Now me personally, I love reading mangas, but I really love reading books. It's a movie that's in your head. And because it's in your head, you're projecting whatever you think is actually going on. So whatever the hero most likely looks like, you're projecting your idea onto that hero. Same for the villain, same for the environment. They're feeding you clues, but you're building the entire set piece, which makes it a lot more of a personal event. Entertainment isn't mutually exclusive. You can like books, you can like mangas, you can like movies, you can watch television. None of them prohibit the other. And so why not explore a little bit? I feel like if you like movies, it's especially worthwhile to pick up a book. Also, I'm not trying to say you have to, I'm just saying if it's something that you've been curious about or interested in, why not give it a try? Now, me personally, I found I have specific genres that I'm typically a lot more interested in. But for someone like me who grew up on anime, I really love stuff with heroes and underdog stories. Granted though, in books you find a lot of underdog stories. All right, so here are some novels and graphic novels that I personally enjoyed that maybe you'd like to check out. Also, I'll post Amazon links below, so if you guys are interested in these books, you can order them yourself.
I want you to go home this afternoon and open a book.
So number 1, All You Need Is Kill. All right, so everyone who's seen the Tom Cruise movie Edge of Tomorrow, or its other name, Live, Die, Repeat, this is the book that's actually based off of. Now forgive me if my genres are off, but I believe this book is science fantasy, or maybe, you know what, maybe it would be science fiction, because although they don't really explain how the mechs work, we're not too far from exoskeletons and mechs, so who knows, or yeah, if you know what genre All You Need Is Kill is, let me know. It's basically Groundhog's Day meets Independence Day, to an extent. And All You Need Is Kill, aliens known as members come down. They're basically big black blobs with like long spiky legs, and they could jettison out and stab people in all kinds of directions. They have like these javelin attacks, all kinds of crazy stuff. As any other alien invasion movie goes, they're invading the Earth. So we follow a soldier known as Keiji Kirya, a Japanese soldier who ends up operating a mech suit known as a jacket in the fight against the mimics. However, on his first day, he ends up dying. But as he dies, he actually gets the blood of another alien on him, which ends up resetting time, which then sends him an entire loop and spiral where he must keep dying and going back in time or to figure out how to defeat the aliens. But then things get shaken up when he finds that he's not the only soldier who had this ability. Now the question is, even with this power, can Earth win? And just what does this other soldier know? So I'll leave it at that. If you want to check out All You Need Is Kill, it'll be the first one on the list below. And it's a very short read. This book itself is only 196 pages, which is going to be even less because of the intro and outros and all that stuff. So if you're looking for just a quick read, or you're looking for a quick introduction to reading, and you also love anime, get this book. Trust me, you won't regret it. Also, like I said, there's 3 different versions. There's the graphic novel, there's the original novelization, and then there's a rewrite of the novelization. I forget honestly which one I got. I think I typically go for the original. So make sure you read the review and see what everyone in the reviews are saying regarding which one to purchase. But for the most part, it should be the same. All right, so this next book is based around Egyptian mythology, which I honestly didn't know that I would be interested in. Like, mythology is actually kind of a crazy thing, and it's interesting the more like a lot of different mythologies and essentially religions too and stuff actually coincide. Like you'll see overlapping parallels. So I bought this book on a whim because hey, it looked interesting enough, and it's called The Red Pyramid. Red Pyramid follows 2 siblings as they recount their story from a recording. It only plays up like at the start and end of certain chapters, but it switches between the viewpoint of 2 siblings. Sadie Kane and Carter Kane. The 2 siblings were separated after the death of their mother, while Carter was just a kid and Sadie was just a baby. Sadie lived with her grandparents out in England, while Carter stayed with his father and traveled around the world. See, their father, Dr. Julius King, was an Egyptologist, so he studied Egyptian artifacts. And once a year, he gets to visit Sadie, and they all as a family get to go and do an activity. Usually he ends up taking them to the Egyptian museum. And that's where this book starts. It's the time when they finally get to spend time together as a family. But this time, something weird is up. This time when they get a private tour of the museum, their father actually locks the curator out of the exhibit and ends up accidentally releasing the main gods of Egypt. Now one of the gods ends up trapping Julius and taking him, because Horus put himself in Carter and Isis put herself in Sadie. Anyway, now the two kids are left on their own and they have to go on a journey in order to save their father, as well as battling the two Egyptian gods that are inside of them, who they can't tell are friend or foe. Along the way, learning about their backgrounds and learning what happened to their mother. Now this book's about 500 pages, which honestly goes by pretty quickly once you get into the book. So if you're curious about any kind of mythology, or if you like RPGs, like with magic or anything like that, get this book. You'll notice it's also written by Rick Riordan. So if you read the Percy Jackson series and you like the Percy Jackson series, you'll like this. It's part of a series, and in the final book, there's actually a story with Percy Jackson, so it's pretty cool how he crosses the worlds. All right, book number 3. Keeping on with the series train, we're gonna move into some superhero territory. But not just that, it's superhero territory mixed with real life as well as zombies. I know, it sounds like it'd be kind of like a weird gimmick thing, but it's actually a really, really good and fun series, and it's called X-Heroes. Now, if you have a Twitter, I definitely recommend following the writer, Peter Kleins, because like he's been doing this interesting thing lately where he's been watching a bunch of movies, I think like every Sunday or Saturday, and he won't say exactly what they are because he has like friends that work on the movie, but he gives really honest like critique and feedback as he watches it. It's interesting, and if you're interested in filmmaking, it's really good notes actually. Now, X-Heroes is a non-linear book series that bounces between the past and the present, telling you about the backgrounds of each of the heroes in a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. Now, in present day, a set of superheroes has set up a safe hold. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyway, they set up a safe zone in Paramount Studios out in Los Angeles, along with any survivors that they could find. Yes, St. George, this guy right here, essentially the Superman of the story, who has unbreakable skin, super strength. He can't fly, but he can glide, and he can also breathe fire, which as you can imagine is very helpful in a war against zombies. Next you have Stealth, who's essentially Batman. I think they actually make that reference in the book at some point where she's basically Batman. No one actually knows what she looks like. She just wears a skin-tight black bodysuit with a cape and a cowl, and she's dope. She's essentially one of the only superheroes in the book, like Batman, who has no superpower, but she can take anyone down. And she's got gadgets galore and the best martial artists in the world. Plus, since it's zombies, she gets to kill non-stop, so that's kind of neat. Next, you have Zap. See, you had to prolong it because his name has 3 Z's, so it's Zap. Zap is an energy being who's, when he's not transformed, is actually paralyzed. But when he is transformed, he becomes a pure energy being. He is living lightning. I have no idea how else to explain it, but he's one of the coolest characters. He's also the comedic relief. Next, you have Cerberus, a former military engineer who's encased herself in a suit of armor that she's developed. However, due to her fear of living in a zombie-infested world, she essentially never leaves her armor, and few people have actually seen her outside of her armor. Then you have heroes like Gorgon, who grew up loving like anime and comic books and stuff like that. So when he got his powers, which is, if you look him directly in the eye, he can suck the energy out of you. And if he sucks enough energy out of people, then for a temporary time, he becomes super powerful. And he's built custom goggles made out of camera lenses, similar to how Spider-Man is now.
Hey everyone.
Anyway, it's a really interesting take because although there is a large narrative like in play in each book, it also takes on a day in the life kind of feel where you follow them as with the normal people, they go on scavenging runs. And it's not something where like people are necessarily afraid of zombies as much because they built a system. But when people make dumb mistakes and they acknowledge that it's dumb mistakes, they die. And it's interesting, it's heartbreaking because like even the little side characters that aren't superpowers, you feel for them and you understand they're all a family. It's really interesting as basically you just follow these heroes and just see what happens in their daily life. And let me just tell you, characters do die in this book. It feels very real in a way. If you're into superheroes, if you're into zombies of any type, if you're into day in the life type of things, or if you just live in Los Angeles or understand the Los Angeles landscape, get this book. I definitely recommend it. This book is barely over 300 pages, so it's a pretty quick read. So I'd say this book is great if you're actually just getting started in reading, or if you've already been reading for a while. So with that, I'm gonna go read Exile, the 5th book in the X-Heroes franchise, because it just came out. I'm really excited for this. So with that, I'm gonna go read Exile. So yeah, let me know if any of these books interested you. Tipsy, come here. It's time for your obligatory cameo. It wouldn't be a vlog without Tipsy. It wouldn't be a vlog without you, Tippy. You tired? All right, I'm gonna go read. Bye.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to save you. We're getting slaughtered. You need to get us off this beach. We have to go. This dropship is about to explode.